Starting off lesson 4 is me. So, for me, we have a couple of different images here. We have our cape, like we know so well, and we have a no parking sign. So me brings up the image of May flowers. April showers bring May flowers. Me. So, because we have these lovely May flowers that are going to grow, we have some flowers. They're going to grow, so let's make some flowers. There's another flower. Do one more pretty little flower. Okay. Because of that, we have put no parking signs next to this field here so that the flowers can grow easily, no problem. But some mischievous kids have come along and they've put a cape over the no parking sign, so now it's all here. This cape is now here. So now you can't even see the no parking sign. So that would unfortunately let our May flowers get damaged by cars driving over them. So that's the image that we can use to remember May, the May flowers. Here are some words which we can now spell with me. Tsume. Ame. Menko. Hiragana Nu is written like this. It looks fairly similar to me, so we're going to use our Mayflower story and expound on it a little bit. So, Nu instantly brings to mind the word nudists. So we have nudists. They're coming here. They see that the mischievous kids have put this cape on top of the no parking sign, knowing how important that no parking sign is for our Mayflowers. They have decided in their infinite wisdom, these fantastic hippie nudists, that they should take a boomerang and put that boomerang on the corner of the sign here. So now they've added a boomerang to the edge of the sign. They've just nailed it right on there, and they've written on it a message saying, "Hey man, you really shouldn't park here, man." And that's what the nudists do. So you should be using as vivid images as possible. So imagine the nudists in as much detail as you want. Just really get it to burn into your brain, because once you do that, then you'll never forget newt. You hear the sound newt, you remember nudists. You remember the cape put over the no parking sign for the Mayflowers, and the boomerang that they added with their little message, because that's exactly what they do. Instead of playing hacky sack, they'll throw around the boomerang, and they brought a boomerang along, and they nailed it right there. Makes perfect sense, right? Even if it doesn't. It's an image that you can remember. That'll stay with you. So, now let's spell a couple new words. Numa. Inu. Akenu. Hiragana Do is as easy to remember as 1, 2, 3. You all know the song Row, Row, Row Your Boat. How many times do you say row in that song? You say row, row, row. 3 times. Row, row, row your boat. So, because of that, you see that Arabic numeral 3 and do, they look a lot the same. So think of do, think of row, row, row your boat, think of the 3 times that you say it, and there you go. Only difference is that this top part here, it's kind of flat, and there's an angle here. Whereas, of course, it's curved in a traditional Arabic numeral 3, but that's really the only difference. Some words we can spell. Doku, iro. Donkoku. Hiragana Duke. What should instantly jump out at you? Do. So I row your boat, plus a boomerang. That makes a do. So with do, we can think of a roof. Do, roof. Those work. And now imagine this. There's a flood. So, since the river has flooded and you have no other recourse, off of the doghouse you rip the roof. You get the roof, do. And then you float along the engorged river and you use the boomerang that you picked up along the way to row your little boat. Boat made of a roof, do. Some words we can spell now. Haru. Saru. Nurui. Next is hiragana wa. So we have a couple new forms here. The one that we already know is the tsu, right? Which our keyword for that is the number 2. But we have new things. Whereas before, when we had a shape that looked kind of like just a piece on the side, we'd call it a cape, usually with a little flapping little piece here, which makes it cape-like, or kind of arced and curved. Those are cape-like images. But here, this is just a straight vertical line. So, rather than these, it is going to be a walking stick, because it's just a straight vertical line, perfectly straight. And the other thing that we have, in addition to this walking stick, which I'll highlight, we have the number 7, right there. And now we'll go to our keyword for wa. The keyword is wasp. So let us imagine we have the 7 dwarves, who are hi-hoing and up and down the vale and off on their way to work. And suddenly, a giant wasp comes. So let's get our wasp. You know, mean little mouth, thorax, and abdomen, and great big, scary wings and its stinger. And it's looking more like a butterfly, unfortunately. But it's big, scary eyes and dangerous mandibles. Okay, this is vaguely wasp looking. Let your imagination do the work. This is just to help you out. So here comes the giant wasp, and of the 7 dwarves, it takes 2 of them. So it takes 2 of the 7 dwarfs with it, the wasp, and as it's taking it off to its nest, the dwarves with their walking sticks, which they've been using to get all the way up the mountain, they have those, and so they beat the wasp into submission and then get released, and then they're fine. Also, as a note, if you have not heard of the giant Japanese hornets, which live in Japan, that might help you remember this image, because they are, in life, they are a little bit bigger than this, which you can see is about the size of part of my hand. So they are rather scary. So, wasps. Let us now spell a few words. Wani. Awa. Wataru. Hiragana de. We have a walking stick again, together making the 7 dwarves with a slight variation. So we had our image before of the walking stick plus the number 7, making our 7 dwarves, because they have their walking sticks that they use to get up the mountain. Okay. And the other thing we have here, this should remind you of Hiragana. I'll do that again. Change the extension of the first part. Hiragana he, right? Looks like a haystack. So let's use this combination of images all together. De, that is reminiscent as a sound to race. Okay, so for this race, the competition is to find 7 dwarves and a haystack. And because these haystacks are all piled next to each other, there's not the usual room for it to spread out like a normal haystack. So it gets kind of crunched up like this with a little bit of hay sticking out at the end here. There's some hay sticking out. That's what this little tail is. Otherwise, it's just, regular haystack in which the 7 dwarves are hiding for this crazy race. Let's spell a few words. Hore. Nureta. Nore. Hiragana ne is written like this. And you'll notice immediately that it looks a lot like wa. So we're going to start with that idea of wa. What does wa remind us of? Wasps. Okay, so with the one addition here of a boomerang. So wasps and boomerangs. So we got, I'll do a quick one here. We got our dangerous wasps flying and boomerangs. Okay, so those are our 2 images, wasps and boomerangs. So imagine that you are at a convention which requires name tags. So name tags. Name tags. And you see that there is a nest of wasps up in the ceiling. And in order to get rid of them, because we need to get rid of the wasps, since you have nothing else at this convention except your name tags, you construct a boomerang out of all your name tags. It's a cooperative convention. And throw it up there and get rid of the wasp. And of course, no trouble will come from that idea, right? But let the image sink in. Silly, crazy, kind of like a weird dream. Let it sink in, make your own version. What do the wasps look like? Are they the really giant, dangerous kind? What does the boomerang look like? Made of the name tags. You see little names written on it. Make it a really vivid image. Mane. Yone. Netsu. Hiragana Suit is written like this. So, for this, we see some familiar images. We have the basic dagger, but then there's this in the middle. It looks not quite like a boomerang, does it? It's a little bit different. It curls down to the left, so we'll call it macaroni. So, suit, the image brings to the mind soup. Soup, okay. So we have our soup. And we go to a nice fancy restaurant and get our soup, but there's macaroni in it. That's crazy. Why is there macaroni in our soup? So we take a dagger, which we of course have brought along, to stab the little macaronis and get them out of there. So that's how we can remember soup with the dagger and get rid of the macaroni. Nisu. Sune. Sura. Hiragana Mu. When we hear Mu, we think of the moon, the moonlight, the best time to do some brewing and some stewing, some witches kind of stewing and souping. Mu, moonlight. So Mu, we write like this. We are going to start with some soup and then finish it out like this. So what do we have all together? We have the soup, right? We have the dagger and the macaroni, remember that? And now what we have here is little puppy dog's tail. So into the soup goes hairpin and puppy dog's tail. So we just elaborate that. Remember, half of a comb makes a hairpin. We'll add the little teeth of the comb to remind us. Remember, that was ko when we did that, and then we made comb. Half of a comb makes a hairpin. There it is. We have our puppy dog's tail here, and of course the rest of the dagger and the macaroni. Sometimes, by the way, when you see this character written, just to do it one more time, when you see this hiragana written, you'll see a connection, almost like a dribbling of ink, which connects these two pieces together. They might look completely connected sometimes. There are many different fonts, of course, for Japanese, just like English. It's important to get used to them and not get thrown off by that sort of thing. Remember that if you have a letter A that you write by hand, it would look like that. That's a normal looking A. However, in printing, a letter A will always look something like that, and never like that. Same sort of thing. That's why these things exist. They're imitated of ink dripping onto paper, horizontal, from vertically onto a horizontal piece of paper. So keep that in mind. Some words we can spell include muri, mutsu, komu. Congratulations on making to the end of Lesson 4. Let's review the hiragana that we have learned. Me, the Mayflowers. Nu, the nudists with the boomerang. Do, looks like a 3. Do, 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 your boat. Do, take the roof off the doghouse, use the boomerang to row. Wa, the wasps come and take 2 of the 7 dwarves with their walking sticks. Today, the race is to see who can find 7 dwarves in a haystack as quickly as possible. Ne, we take our name tags to make a boomerang to get the wasp nest at the convention. Soup, in our soup, our little macaroni, so we take a dagger to stab them out. Mu, moon, the moonlight, perfect time to do brewing with some stew, with some soup. And into it we add all sorts of magical ingredients like puppy dog tails and hairpins. So now we can add to our song here. Pretty much done, but here we go. Sing with me. Akasata nahamaya dawam dawam. Remember, when we write hiragana, which of course, as you recall, is like that, it's not the letter N, not truly, much as a do and a do. That's not ro and ru, really. It's our English equivalent. N is our Romaji English equivalent of this, but it's not an N. It is pronounced the yummy sound with your mouth closed. So, all together again. Akasata nahamaya rawam dawam. Okay, so we'll do more next time. For now, take a break, let these images really sink in.